Hello and happy gaming, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and you might notice that we've got a kind of generic power build going on here. We're using the Rule Robe, the old Volt Ring, the Big Rock, the Blazing Lariat, and that is all for a reason. It is in service of making sure that we have something to go along with our favorite game. Can you guess what's in the mystery box? That's right, we're doing it again. This will probably be a kind of common staple. So, we're going to, at the end of floor 3-1, just like last time, we are going to drop the mystery box, and by then there should be 5 items to acquire from it. If you can guess, I'm going to say at least 2 of the items in the box, then I will allow you to choose the next theme run for me to work with. That, of course, is going to be after the Luigi run. So, keep your eyes peeled for what comes up, and we will see what happens. So, I'm just going to offer a brief bit of transparency. This is my second time doing this run, because I had completely forgotten the first time around that my mic was off. And I had turned my mic off because I was trying to use one piece of software to record my, crazy bus music video, so to speak, and forgot to turn my mic back on. So I've actually already done this run once, but yeah, because I forgot I had my mic off, there wasn't much I could do with it, so I just deleted it and decided to do this run. But I can share with you a couple of differences from that run to this one already, which is, one, that first time around, I didn't do anything that stupid. I did stupid things, don't get me wrong, but not quite as stupid as, I'm over here! Kill me! And then not follow it up with anything. But first time around, it wasn't anything I did, but first time around, Atlas was on level 3, so I mean, if you ever wanted to feel as though something were happening to you out of pure hatred, that would be one thing. But number 2, and more importantly, Iris was not giving me any sort of help. Like, she was not selling me anything that was an upgrade to what I was using at all. It was all just random crap. So this time around, the idea that she gave me upgraded knockout boulder is very helpful, because now I've got a ranged area of effect option. And I gotta say, it feels pretty good. Last time around, I also got the unicorn disguise. We'll see. I've been getting that a lot lately, so we will see if that continues to be a thing. I may want to get the super carrot cake. But Ifrit's matchstick is going to boost the damage of my signature, which is a bit more useful. So we're going with that. God, I hate Earth enemies. Why are they allowed to do poison? It's not even fair. Alright, found that awfully quickly. Let's go clear the rest of the floor, then we'll hit the boss. So, about now, I'm sure there's a number of you wondering, hey, Dark Sage Walker, what the hell is up with that? What the hell is up with that crazy bus video? Hey, you like that, huh? No, that was one of those things that I did because sometimes you come across something that is so purely what the fuck that I felt I had to share it. And the most entertaining form with which I could choose to share it was as essentially a song playthrough on Beat Hazard 2. So yes, that is one of the games that I play just in my own time. It's also one of those games that could be a lot of fun to stream. I am somewhat expecting to get a copyright claim on it though, because you know how doing music on YouTube is. And to be fair, I mean, I get why it's a thing. There's a lot of people on YouTube that will post up a song and then be like, "Yeah, I made this." Like, no, you're posting it up and using fair use to put commentary on it, which is what I'm doing. I'm using fair use to kind of to transform the work and turn it into something more interesting. I'm not posting it up and saying, "Yeah, this is mine. Creatively, this is my work." Because first of all, who in their right mind would want to claim that? And secondly, it's not my thing. I already create my own stuff. I see no reason to steal other people's work when I'm perfectly capable of creating my own. So even though I feel as though it would be a bit of a falsehood, I'm almost expecting to get a copyright claim on that video. But we'll see. Maybe the Venezuelan students that created that tech demo are completely cool with it and understand that I'm putting it up there because it's a strangely popular piece of cult music, if you can call it music, that people just have this reaction to. My reaction to it being, fuck the what? And I think for most people that would be their reaction to it. I'm gonna go without super carrot cake. I get the feeling that I'll find something better on the next floor. So it'll be nice to get Atlas's floor out of the way early, because frankly, I find the Living Courtyard to be the worst level in the game. I'll be so happy to just get it done and over with. Here, get rid of those before stepping into the room. Alright. But I mean, on the point of the idea that it's a strangely popular, like, cult thing for video game music in general, and that goes almost part and parcel, or as I was about to say, hat in time, because I'm dumb, with the idea that sometimes when things are awful, people find enjoyment in them, not necessarily because it's good, but because it's ultimately very entertaining and leaves you with this very "how did they think this was okay" feeling, which I think is very much how people view the title theme to Crazy Bus. And we all have our guilty pleasures. Trust me, no one is looking at the Crazy Bus soundtrack and going, "Yeah, it's objectively very good." I really think it's a fine contemporary piece of work demonstrating the futility of modern life and how we should all be looking forward to something new to enrich our lives. No, who in their right mind is saying that? Most people are looking at the Crazy Bus title track the same way I did, which is, who allowed this to exist? Why is this a thing? And I don't know, maybe the people that made it were really interested in seeing what happens if they tried to generate a piece of music via random number generator. In which case, congratulations guys, but was it worth it? Was it? But that's one of those things that I would say, if you like it, then it's because it's ironic. You're not saying it's a great piece of work. You're listening to it going, how did anyone think this was okay? And even the idea of it was just supposed to be, I will take. Oh, bouncing surge as well. Well, now you have my attention. But no, I'm pretty sure. But even knowing that it was just supposed to be like a tech demo. Okay, I actually can't take Adorable Mimic because that's going to ruin the mystery box. So, unfortunately, even though on a normal run I would be like, drop that to save things and whatever, I actually have to say no to Adorable Mimic. You know how much that hurts me to do? Yeah, the birds don't care. Also, I'm starting to think that maybe that either this controller's D-pad is also very sensitive, or maybe I'm just really bad at using D-pads in general. I'm not sure what the answer to that question is. But I'd say everyone has their own little guilty pleasure. And when it comes to movies, one of my guilty pleasures is the Final Destination series. Because let's be fair, it's not a wonderful piece of dramatic storytelling. It's basically just an excuse for using special effects to see twats get twatted. And also to see what sort of crazy Rube Goldberg machines they come up with to just splatter people. And considering that they were making a lot of sequels to those movies for a little while, I find it hard to believe that no one else in the world found these to be the funny, interesting, guilty pleasures that I did. I would wager to say, what is Surge Anchor? Oh yeah, it's trash. I'm taking it because I have nothing else, but I would be lying if I said I thought it was a very interesting spell. And yet somehow I still find that it's probably more usable than it. What is it? It shall not be named. But those of you who have been watching my videos for a bit, you know what it is. That might actually be more useful than I thought. Oh, Tidal Burst! I do like Tidal Burst, and that goes very well with a power build. And is also much better than Surge Anchor. Alright, so we need upgrades to bouncing. We need upgrades to a lot of things. Come on, Iris, stop being so stingy. She's once again just putting random crap up for sale and just going, yeah, that looks good. No, we need upgrades. I now need upgrades to 4 different spells, so stop being weird about your desires and sell the things that we need to make this run better. So that was, originally I was thinking, oh yeah, that's one of the things that's going to be different about this run, is that she's going to be nicer. No. No, this version of the run, she's doing the same thing. But on the point of things that we like as guilty pleasures, has anyone ever gone out searching for something that they thought was going to be good, or at the very least a guilty pleasure of their own, and it just ended up having terrible consequences. And in this case, I don't mean terrible consequences as in, like, it ruined your life. We're not looking for, microtransaction testimonials here, because those are a nightmare in and of themselves. No, what I'm talking about is something that you bought thinking that it was going to be interesting, and turned out to be just a pile of steaming hot slag on a disc. Or maybe not even on a disc, but in my case it is. Because... And to offer a little bit of a background, I am a big fan of, what games journalists call character action games, which I've come to know as spectacle fighters. Well, Dark Sage, what exactly is a spectacle fighter? Ah, good question. I'm glad you asked. Well, you ever been playing a game and noticed that, boy, this character is really good at fighting, so much so that they feel as though they need to put style over anything else, and they're just ridiculous at what they do. Well then, congratulations, you're playing a spectacle fighter. And some of you may have just heard that definition just now and said, boy, that sounds an awful lot like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry. And you, hypothetical viewer, have glanced off of, if not hit the nail directly on the head. That is exactly what got me into that style of game. I still love that style of game to this day. Hold on. I can't possibly have seen the whole map. I haven't even seen Anders yet. Where is he? Oh, down there. Do we have anything good? Kind of, but it might be better for me to save my money. So, it's with that in mind and knowing how much I enjoy a good Bayonetta, a good Devil May Cry, that we come to the subject of this little talk of mine. The subject being a little Konami title called X-Blades. Now, some of you may already know what a steaming pile of crap that game is, but in case you don't, let me set the mood for you. So, I very much enjoy spectacle fighters, and this looked to be a very interesting one, starring a character that, we'll conservatively say, gives Lara Croft a run for her money in how she dresses. I don't mean current Lara Croft, because she's got all the character and likability of a bowl of porridge, but yeah, she was definitely what one would call a waifu, so to speak. But you know what? I have no problem with that. I do not have a negative outlook on sexuality at all. So if anything, I was like, okay, this character looks interesting. The game promises to be... Iris, why are you doing this to me? Okay, so I can upgrade one thing, but I got 3 other things that need upgrading. Come on, honey. Charitably, I could say 2 because I can go without upgrading Tidal Blast, but I would definitely like the upgrades for the other 2. So I go to pick up this game because I like the way it looks, and even though I've already read some reviews at this point, and it's saying that the game is not so great. First of all, a lot of game reviews nowadays are centered very heavily on the graphical quality of the game and not the actual gameplay. So my thought was, okay, they're probably just shitting on this game because it doesn't look like the latest Call of Duty. Which, by the way, to me isn't even necessarily the benchmark of good graphics. Graphical fidelity, maybe, but good graphics is more than just graphical fidelity. And to offer an example of what I mean, no one will say that the game Yoshi's Island has has the highest graphical fidelity, since it looks like it could be done by your 12-year-old cousin with a box of Crayolas. But it's the aesthetic that matters more. Yeah, it doesn't have the cutting-edge graphics technology that everyone seems to strive for. But you know, it made up for that with having an aesthetic that matched the game, and the tone, the feeling, everything about the graphics of Yoshi's Island were just right. And I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. Oh, you were behind me, okay. I mean, some of you might, that's just the nature of opinion. Someone is going to listen to that and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, but Yoshi's Island looks like hot molten buttocks, and, you know, you're entitled to your opinion. Just because you're wrong doesn't mean you're not entitled to it. Here we go. So, I decide, yeah, screw the reviews, I'm gonna go check this game out. And for what it's worth, I still say, for the most part, screw the reviews, because if we haven't been able to tell, the professional reviewers are less interested in reviewing games as they are in getting their access. I think all it takes is just an objective look at The Last of Us Part 2 to understand that there is... Yeah, I'll take that. Relics this time around are really iffy. But all it takes is a quick objective look to realize that, yeah, maybe they're not as interested in actual reviewing and journalism as they are in having their special friends give them more prizes. So... yeah, even back then, games journalism was either becoming or already was a joke. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check this game out because it looks like it matches up with my interests, and what the hell, even if it is kinda bad, it might just be one of those little guilty pleasures that I like to play every so often. So I go and pick up X-Blades, which, you know, it might be Cross-Blades, I don't know, but not important. And I start playing it, and yeah, okay, so the controls are a little sluggish, the character's movements are maybe a little bit sticky, say about that what you will, I already know that my dirty mind has already gone there. And considering the design of the main character, yeah, you probably wouldn't be wrong to think that. But there was so much going on that I was like, okay, I can't necessarily be mad at this game. I'm sure there's something here that's really good. So, I don't know, I was actually enjoying it throughout the first level. Because I was not too concerned with everything being perfect, which, yes, does mean that I was going in with my standards a bit lowered. But nonetheless, I was having a good time with it. Combo time! But where the game really started to get to me, and I started realizing that this wasn't going to be, you know, the happy fun time that I thought I was going to be having. There we go, that was a good fight. Aqua Breaker, alright. I don't know if I really need to use it right now, especially since we're coming up on Freya's level, but, I don't know, might be good to have. But everything was going fine up until the second level of the game, where suddenly I realized that that two aspects of the game were not given equal time and treatment to cook in the oven, so to speak. And that is the idea that the character's weapons are essentially gun blades, you know, that infeasible piece of equipment from Final Fantasy VIII that everyone questions, how does that even work? Like, how do you fire off a shot without the blade portion of it just getting completely wrecked? And to which everyone responded with, it's a video game, shut up! So, you know, it's okay to question some games, but not others. Oh, is that where the journalists get their ideas on The Last of Us 2? Anyways, by the way, I apologize if you do genuinely like Last of Us 2 and you're getting upset with me shitting all over it. I would be shitting on it less if it wasn't, like, the thing that everyone says is going to, you know, cure cancer. Sorry, but the game is not that good. Even graphically, I can think of games that are actually better. But I digress. So, the idea that Ayumi's gun blades were a big thing for the game meant that she was supposed to have all sorts of special combat techniques and versatility, very akin to, you know, very akin to the masters of the spectacle fighter genre in general. Now, that would be all well and good if it were actually done well. The problem is, the shooting controls were not only gummy and hard to work with, but the aiming only actually hit the enemy when it felt like it. So, I get to stage 2 and there are flying enemies all of a sudden. I'm going, okay, this isn't so bad, I can deal with this. And then proceed to not be able to hit them at all for an entire 5-minute fight before they eventually kill me without me being able to so much as retaliate properly. Because, hey, guess what? They're flying. They can get away from my melee attacks without even breaking a sweat. That's the point in which I said, okay, the game is this unbalanced, fuck it, I'm done. One of the quickest purchase and then returns I'd ever had. And I will say, that doesn't happen to me very often. Not often do I purchase a game and then immediately go, yeah, this has to go. I see exploding fireball. That could be very good for me. But why is it you don't want to sell me anything that could be useful, like an upgrade to some of my arcana? You bitch! You have made me very upset. Okay, so I want to give Dr. Song something, but I don't necessarily want it to be a bouncing surge. So my question is, how much do I care about Tidal Burst? And is there a way I can get away with not giving away either of them? I'm gonna say probably not. There we go, I think we'll do this. I can live without Tidal Burst. Messy prescription, alright. So, another difference between last run and this one is that I did talk to Dr. Song in the previous run. I got the same relic. I must have accidentally purchased something I didn't want. Well, damn. bitch. There we go. I just noticed this run turned into a lot of just chucking things at people to keep them at bay. There's, no, you stay over there now! I don't want to see you anymore! Also, it is the end of floor 3-1, so it is time. We have 5 relics to pick up, and if, like I said, if you can get 2 of them right, then you will get to choose our next theme run. There's a lot of relics to pick from, so odds aren't great, but you know, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. We now get to have our answer to what's inside the mystery box. And we will know in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mystery box! Alright, so if you guessed Stanza of Frost, Tomo's Claws, Sano's Headband, Lemo's Leaf, or the Deafening Symbols, then you are winner. Now remember, it has to be some combination of them. It's not just those by themselves. So if you guessed 2 or more of those, then you get the ability to choose the next theme run after Luigi, of course. So moving on now. Tomo's Claws is a big help because that's going to upgrade our basic and basically give us a little bit more coverage by making it so that it bounces between enemies. Which honestly means I wish I had that earlier, but there we go. And she still doesn't want to upgrade Bouncing Surge. Christ, woman! You must be in a really bad mood. Then again, if I were trying to work paint in a Sub-Zero environment, I might be a little bit of a bad mood too. So that is a game that I picked up thinking it would either be good or at least a guilty pleasure, and ended up being, you know, unpleasantly surprised. On the other hand, a game that I picked up that I ended up really liking despite reviews would be Otomedius X. And a lot of the reasons why the game got bad reviews, again, had very little to do with the gameplay. It's like, the reviews that I read basically shat all over the game for being essentially a Gradius parody game, which, oh no, how dare someone do that? It's not like things like Parodius never existed. But also for the way that they, again, kind of sexualized the main characters. Like, no, they're too young, they're high schoolers, you can't do that to them. It's like, who says? Like, is this really something that needs that much discussion? First of all, we can talk about the idea of sexualizing young characters all we want, and try our best to demonize things like that. But I have 2 counters to that. First one being, you know, it's a different culture. Age of Consent in Japan is very different from what Age of Consent is here in this country. Rock that. Wait, hold on. Rock that. And glad I held on to this now. For you. Reinforced bracers. Your projectiles destroy any other projectiles they strike. I like that. Alright, good find. But the other argument I would have is that it's not like it's uncharacteristic for us here in the West to sexualize young people. You want a good example? You want a good example of that? How many beauty pageants are out there that? Hold on. Sleepy Thunderstone. There we go. That's always a good one to have. Let's see. Is Iris still being difficult? Yes. I mean, you can say what you want about sexualizing high schoolers, and you know, there's a. I'm not going to say that there isn't a conversation to be had about it, but I mean, you know, it's to me it seems to pale. The whole idea seems to pale in comparison when you're talking about, oh, I don't know, sexualizing prepubescent children. I mean, I hate to dig up an old wound, but you know, there's a conversation to be had about the whole JonBenet Ramsey case and why anyone felt that that was a good idea. I don't mean like her disappearance and everything that happened to her subsequently. I'm just talking about why they felt it was a good idea to do that to their daughter to begin with. Do you think she had any idea what she was doing? Because my guess is she was simply following what her parents were saying, and they're like, Mommy and Daddy like it when I do this, so I'll keep doing it. So we're going to demonize a culture that puts age of consent actually a good deal, I'm not even going to say a good deal younger than us here in America, because it's kind of on a state-by-state basis, honestly. Oh, stop it. And in some states, our age of consent is actually equal to what it is in some of the Japanese provinces, so again, is it really... are we really so much better than them? I would argue no, not really. And I don't think there is such a thing as necessarily good or bad in this case. I think it's more a matter of just cultural difference. But with that being the main reason why they were shitting all over the scores of the game, to me that seemed disingenuous. Like, you're not telling me anything about the game, you're just saying that you think it's gross that they sexualize essentially high school aged anime girls. And you want me to now take your review seriously? You didn't tell me anything about the game. You didn't offer any sort of deconstruction of the actual mechanics or anything. You just said it's gross because you don't think they should be doing that to girls that young. To which I would respond with, then why are we doing it to 10-year-olds? Or younger. Okay, if you think that it's okay to have prepubescent beauty queens, then honestly, your standards are even worse. Anyways, I apologize. I didn't mean for things to start getting political. It's just I had some things to say. And one of them is about hypocrisy in our media. But that's enough of that. The whole point I'm getting at is that I thought Otomedius X was actually a really fun game that wasn't given its due because it was reported on in a way that didn't even address the game's shortcomings. Now, I admit to being a bit biased on this because I love shmups. Whether I'm good at them or not, I like them. And when you like something, eventually you're gonna get really good at it. So, you know, all in due time. But I mean, yeah, I played Otamedius X. I've played Death Smiles. I have Mushihime Futari on my Steam account. Like, I'm not at all opposed to a good shmup. So, since the question is now going to come up of, okay, well, what were some of the game's actual problems? Well, for one, it was a game that was released on the Xbox 360 at the time, and I'm pretty sure that the game had an almost unforgivable amount of frame rate lag to it. And I don't mean like at all times, but when there was a lot of stuff going on screen, such as Deal's Shadow Laser, my god, the game went into slow friggin' motion. Which on one hand was good for dodging things, but on the other probably wasn't necessarily intended. So I mean, if they could take care of the frame rate issues of the game, it probably would have been a significantly better experience. Like I said, I'm not saying that it was a great game that was maligned by by journalists. It was maligned by journalists, but again, it wasn't necessarily a great game. It was just a game that deserved more credit than it got. So, there's one of my gaming guilty pleasures. Feel free to talk about one of yours in the comments below. And like I said, if you got any of those five... if you got any of those 5 relics right on your guess, then let me know and you'll get to set up the next theme run. So, thank you guys very much for watching, thank you for all of your support, and I will see you in the next video. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you.